Are you feeling overwhelmed by the obstacles in your life? Like no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to get ahead? Maybe you found yourself in a place where you're questioning the way things are going, and you feel like you should be doing more. Or perhaps you're facing a time when life feels like it's closing in, and you're unsure how to connect with others in meaningful ways. This is a difficult place to be, but I want to assure you you're not alone in this struggle. What I'm about to share with you is more than just words of encouragement. This is a roadmap. It's a guide to help you rediscover joy, purpose, and connection, no matter your circumstances. If you've been struggling to find your place in the world or are navigating challenges that seem impossible to overcome, I'm here to help you understand that these challenges don't define you, they can fuel your transformation. Living joyfully alone doesn't mean isolation. It's about creating space within yourself to thrive, even when you may feel disconnected from others. In fact, it's an opportunity for you to build a stronger, more resilient relationship with yourself. But how do you get there? How do you break through those walls and learn to find joy even in solitude? That's exactly what we're going to explore. First, we'll look at what it means to feel alone and how this impacts you. We'll identify the challenges, but more importantly, we'll explore the solutions. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, develop actionable steps to enhance your well-being, and cultivate a life filled with connection, joy, and fulfillment. You might have doubts along the way, but together, we'll show you how to overcome them. So, let's dive into what it truly means to live joyfully alone, to take charge of your social life, and to use these experiences as stepping stones to a better future. If you're ready to begin this journey, keep reading. I promise you this: your life can change. You have the power within you to live more joyfully, regardless of the circumstances. Let's start by exploring the problem of isolation, especially as we age or face challenging situations in life. It's natural to seek social connections. Humans are wired to crave companionship. But as we get older, we might find ourselves facing periods of loneliness, where socializing feels difficult or even overwhelming. In many ways, loneliness becomes an unseen barrier, one that affects both our mental and physical health. Consider the last time you felt like no one truly understood what you were going through. Maybe it was a time when you reached out, but the response was either too late or too disconnected. Maybe you tried to join in on social activities, but they felt empty, lacking the real connection you were yearning for. These experiences aren't just inconvenient, they're hurtful, and they can leave you feeling vulnerable, unsupported, and misunderstood. But here's the truth: loneliness and isolation don't just affect our emotional state, they affect our health. Studies show that prolonged loneliness can lead to a range of health issues, including increased stress levels, weakened immune systems, and even heart disease. It can impact our sleep patterns and lower our energy levels, making it even harder to engage with others. Over time, this feeling of disconnection can create a vicious cycle. The more we feel alone, the more we retreat, and the more disconnected we become. And if we're honest, the fear of loneliness often comes with an added layer of guilt. We might think, I should be able to handle this better. Why do I feel so alone when I have so many opportunities for connection? These questions can lead to shame, self-doubt, and frustration if we don't address the problem head-on. It can hold us back from embracing life to its fullest potential. But here's where we need to shift our perspective. There's no shame in feeling lonely or isolated. It's a natural part of the human experience. What matters is how we choose to address it. If we let loneliness define us, it will continue to hold power over our lives. But if we recognize that we have the ability to change our experience, we can start to make meaningful shifts. What happens if we don't address this issue? The consequences are clear. Emotional and physical health can deteriorate, and we may miss out on opportunities to connect with others in ways that could bring immense joy and fulfillment. We might close ourselves off, not only from others, but also from the very experiences that could lead us to growth and renewal. However, I want to remind you that this is not the end of your story. This can be the beginning of something powerful. The truth is, no matter how deeply you may feel isolated, you can break through this barrier. And I'm here to show you how. So let's talk about shifting the way you think about socializing, especially as you age. It starts with understanding that loneliness doesn't have to define you. You can learn to thrive in your own company, to find joy in solitude, and still build meaningful connections with others. The first shift is recognizing that socializing in old age doesn't mean you have to constantly surround yourself with others to feel fulfilled. It means building a relationship with yourself, where you're comfortable in your own skin and able to find peace in solitude. But this requires a mindset change. Instead of seeing socializing as something that requires a large group or constant engagement, see it as a way to enrich your life through quality interactions, even if they're fewer or more spaced out. One key principle to embracing this shift is realizing that self-worth isn't dependent on constant social validation. The joy you feel comes from within, and when you can tap into that internal well-being, you start to realize that you don't need a crowd to feel important. You need to feel fulfilled. And that fulfillment is something you can cultivate within yourself. Now, let's break this down into actionable steps that you can start taking today. First, begin by setting intentional time for yourself. Start small, whether it's 10 minutes of quiet time in the morning, journaling your thoughts, or taking a walk in nature. These small practices can build a stronger connection with yourself. And over time, you'll find that these moments of solitude become something you look forward to, rather than something you fear. Second, challenge your assumptions about socializing. Do you think you need a big group to feel connected? Try one-on-one meetups instead. Reach out to someone for a coffee, a walk, or even a phone call. Sometimes, the most meaningful social interactions come from small, intentional connections. Next, embrace the concept of quality over quantity. When you do socialize, aim for meaningful conversations. Listen more than you speak. Be present. This doesn't mean you have to share everything about yourself, but being present in the moment allows you to connect more deeply. Lastly, remember that it's okay to seek help. If you feel like you're struggling with loneliness or isolation, don't hesitate to reach out. Whether it's through professional counseling, support groups, or simply talking with a trusted friend, seeking guidance is a sign of strength, not weakness. You're not meant to navigate this alone. Even with these changes in place, challenges will arise. You may experience moments of doubt or feel unsure about whether these practices are really making a difference. The key here is persistence. One common challenge is fear of rejection or judgment. You might be afraid that others won't understand your desire to make these changes, or that you'll feel even more disconnected. But here's what you need to know. People will respect the changes you're making when you start respecting yourself. The more you focus on your own well-being, the more others will begin to see the positive shifts in your life. Another challenge is managing the inevitable ups and downs of life. You may have days where you feel incredibly connected and energized, and other days when you feel defeated and unsure. Remember, this is normal. Growth isn't linear, but every small step you take counts. Even when it feels like you're not moving forward, be kind to yourself during these moments and give yourself credit for trying. I encourage you to keep pushing forward. Even when things feel difficult, the journey to living joyfully alone is one of empowerment. When you embrace yourself fully, you become the source of your own strength. And as you continue down this path, you'll begin to realize that the barriers to connection aren't as strong as they once seemed. Let me share a story with you. This is about someone who, just like you, faced the challenge of isolation. Her name is Clara. At first, Clara found it difficult to break out of her routine. She had been living alone for many years, and her social circle had shrunk over time. The loneliness crept in, but instead of resigning herself to it, Clara decided to take action. She started with small changes, attending a local book club and going for walks in the park. Through these simple actions, Clara began to connect with others in new, unexpected ways. One day, she found herself talking to a fellow book club member who shared a similar passion for gardening. They decided to start a small garden together. Over time, they became close friends, and Clara learned that connecting with just one person could lead to a deeper, more fulfilling relationship. Clara's story is proof that living joyfully alone doesn't mean being alone forever. It means finding a balance and embracing the opportunity to grow in ways you never imagined. To keep that momentum going, it's essential to recognize that personal growth is a continuous journey. There's no finish line. Celebrate your progress along the way. Every time you reach out to someone, every time you spend time with yourself, and every time you make a conscious decision to embrace joy, you're building a stronger, more confident version of yourself. The journey is ongoing, and that's okay. It's the small wins that matter. When you take time to reflect on your growth, you'll see just how far you've come. But also, remember the importance of balance. As you continue your journey, ensure you're taking time to recharge. Self-care is just as vital as self-growth. Never underestimate the power of rest. The key message in this passage is that you have the power to live a joyful life. Even when you're alone, it's a reminder that personal fulfillment and happiness don't have to depend on others or external circumstances. They can come from within. The text emphasizes that the steps you take today, however small, will influence the direction and quality of your future life. The phrase, "you are capable of living joyfully alone," suggests that being alone does not equate to loneliness or emptiness. In fact, it can be a fulfilling and enriching experience if approached with the right mindset. This might involve learning to enjoy your own company, discovering personal interests, or embracing solitude as a space for self-growth and reflection. The idea here is that inner contentment and joy can be cultivated independently of your relationships with others. Steps you take today will shape the future you desire, introduces the concept of action and intentionality. Every decision you make, whether it's small, like changing a daily habit, or significant, like pursuing a new career or educational path, has the potential to affect the life you're building. The future is not a passive experience. It's shaped by your efforts, choices, and attitudes in the present. So, if you want to create a future that feels fulfilling, the actions you take now are foundational. The mention of the small shift in mindset highlights how even minor changes in perspective can create significant transformations in your life. Sometimes, it's not about making huge, drastic changes. It's about adjusting your mindset to focus on positivity, gratitude, and possibility. When you shift your thinking, you open the door to new experiences and opportunities. An intentional moment of self-reflection suggests that taking time to pause and examine your thoughts, feelings, and experiences can be a powerful tool for growth. Reflection allows you to understand yourself better, identify areas for improvement, and recognize your strengths. It helps you become more self-aware and aligned with your true desires and goals. Finally, a genuine connection with another person points out that while you are capable of living joyfully alone, human connection is still a meaningful part of life. However, this connection should be authentic and fulfilling. It's not about surrounding yourself with people for the sake of it, but about forming relationships that add value and support your well-being. Taken together, this message stresses the importance of small, intentional actions in creating a future where you feel empowered, happy, and connected both to yourself and to others. Whether through inner reflection, shifting your mindset, or fostering meaningful relationships, you hold the power to shape a life that aligns with your desires and leads to lasting joy. Now, take a deep breath and commit to one small action today. The journey may not be easy, but you are capable, and the rewards, they will be worth every step.